Is your dog super hyper? Do they have a lot of energy? Does it kind of feel like even after you've exercised them, they can still go on and on? Well, if so, then keep watching because in this video, we're going to be discussing the 5 top tips to get your hyperactive dog to be calm. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Ayumi and today we're going to be discussing how to get your hyperactive dog to be calmer. This is really common, especially for puppies. So let's get started. So dogs tend to become hyperactive or they're left with so much energy. A lot of the times it's simply due to not being exercised enough, or they could be exercised in the wrong ways. Tip number 1, take them for a walk. Before you raise your voice and say, Ayumi, I do take my dog for a walk. Hold on. Let me finish and let me explain. When I say walk, I mean a structured walk. A structured walk means no sniffing, no zigzagging to pull in all the different directions, no marking, no peeing on all the things, and definitely no pulling. Once you've established a really structured walk, your dog is going to start to focus more on you. They're going to be engaged on you, which is allowing them to think just a little bit more. By allowing them to think a little bit more during the walk and not just do whatever they want to do, you're allowing them to use some mental stimulation, which is going to cause them to be a bit more tired after their walks. And I'm sure some of you who have taken your dogs for walks, you feel that you can go miles and miles, but by the time your dog gets home, they're still ready to go. So make sure you start to establish a more structured walk for your dogs and start to create some rules for them. At the end of the day, when you take your dogs for a walk, the walk is not necessarily just for your dog, it's for the both of you. It's not just to make your dog physically tired, and all the walks should last longer than 30 minutes typically every single day. I usually tell all my clients to go for an hour, but if you find that you can't find an hour, at least 45 minutes would be good enough. And no, you can't break it up into 2 separate walks. So for example, you can't do like one 15-minute walk and you do another 20-minute walk and you do another 10-minute walk. Make sure it's one consistent long walk. Tip number 2, give them mental stimulation work. What mental stimulation really is it allows your dogs to think without us having to actually do so much on our end. So the only thing that's required from us with mental stimulation work is a lot of patience and a lot of consistency. So here are some examples of mental stimulation work with some actual videos of my students going through them on their own. Teaching them to be calm before coming out of their crate. To be calm before going on a walk. Teaching them to be calm before eating their food with their food actually in front of them. And no, this does not mean having them sit and wait in front of the food. That's not calm, that's them knowing what they're supposed to do because they've done it so often that they know the drill already. They know they're supposed to sit and then they get their food. That's not mental stimulation work. Place, which works on impulse control. Place. Providing them with a food puzzle or even making one on your own. Think of it like this. When you're at school and you're doing homework or you're studying for a test and you start to feel really exhausted after a certain point, but you're not doing any physical activity. You're actually doing mental activity. So when you're doing mental activity work, you're using your brain to read, to study, to think, and you basically become mentally exhausted. That's what we want to provide for our dogs. Not always run, 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 go, 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 fetch and chase and all that stuff. We want to slow things down a little bit. We want to make sure that we're allowing our dogs to think a little bit more than just action all the time. I'm going to link for you guys down below in the description some of the products that I do recommend to get, so check that out when you can. Tip number 3, bike riding. Get a bike attachment if you're not the best bike rider, me, and allow your dog to run beside you. Definitely don't go pushing them beyond their limits. You don't want them to have to catch up to you while they're on the bike. So go at their pace. Really make sure that you start slowly and then you slowly start to pick up the speed. What I suggest doing is to make sure that you do warm up for at least 10 minutes and then go for the ride. So what a warm up looks like is you are walking the bike with your dog attached to the attachment, and you guys are going for a short little walk around the neighborhood for about 10 minutes or so both of you can get warmed up properly. Bike rides really don't need to last that long unless your dog really likes it. Boss is actually good after about 15 minutes or so, and he's pretty much done for the rest of the day. Dog bike attachment. I think it's great. So it has this spring-like action. So if your dog were to pull to the side, it actually doesn't affect you very much. So it's pretty nice. You can keep your balance. I'll also link below the product that I use for my bike attachment. Tip number 4, treadmill work. So treadmill work is a lot easier said than done. Getting your dog on the actual treadmill is probably going to be step 1 for a lot of you. It's a lot of work on its own, especially because a treadmill is not a common thing that dogs get on, so it's gonna be a lot of work for you and for your dog. So simply just getting your dog on the treadmill can just be practice number 1. Once your dog is comfortable on the actual treadmill, that's when you can start moving, but really make sure you're moving really, really slow. Remember, your dog is getting used to this new movement. They're moving, but everything else around them is not moving, so this is not natural for them. So please be patient with them. Don't get frustrated. Go really, really slow. It's not a race. And once you start to see them kind of get the groove of things, you can slowly pick up the speed. But treadmill work is not necessarily just to have your dogs run. It's just so they can focus on their walks and focusing on engaging every part of their body. Once you are done with the treadmill work, don't just take them off because I'm sure they're going to want to hop off. What you actually want to do is you want to make sure that they are relaxed before coming off, and here are some examples. Dog is a happy dog, right? Wrong. The most important tip of all is slow down. I know it seems a bit counterintuitive, especially mentioning bike riding and treadmill work, but here's the thing. So when you allow your dog to be tired from overexcited play, you're essentially building up their endurance. So for example, if you play fetch for 30 minutes or you let them run amok in the backyard, that's all excited play. We live in a super fast-paced world, which is why a lot of the times our dogs are also fast-paced. So we tend to talk to our dogs quickly and tell them to do things quickly because we're also always on the move. Our movements are fast, our reactions are fast, and our dogs just mimic our movements. I promise you that if you also stop your movements, your dog will too. Will it be instant? No, but you will notice a difference. We try to get our dogs to relax by doing so many movement-based things, and that just ignites their drive to move more. So do the opposite. So I hope these 5 tips get you guys in the right direction to help your hyperactive dogs to be a little bit calmer. And if this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!